Have you ever found yourself overly engrossed in a video game just for this to happen? Alright, this got creepy real quick. What about this? There's a lot of blood in here. What is... Okay. Bam. You're dead. Alright, so this game went from mowing down Combine to straight up horror? Like, what is going on here? Anyway, there's another one. Out of nowhere, they pull a fast one on you. Otherwise, great games that lie primarily in the action-adventure genre that briefly dip their slick little toes into the blood-filled pool that is horror. And for anyone asking, that's what the topic of this video is today. Now, horror as a genre has been around since before I was a thought in my parents' nether regions, if you know what I mean. When I was gulping down the milk of life, gamers all over the world, unless they were banned in your country, which in that case, that sucks, were soiling their fresh undies. It soared into popularity within gaming in the 90s with the likes of Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and System Shock. Lo and behold, it prevailed into the 21st century, seeing the release of BioShock, Doom 3, and to absolutely no one's surprise, more Resident Evil. But that was then. Enough about then. What about now? Well, in this crazy time frame we call 2024, we really aren't seeing a steady development of horror games from financially prospering companies. Most of the survivability of the genre has been relegated to single devs and small indie teams with varying degrees of success, most of which are eaten up by the streamers and YouTubers looking to make reaction-style content in the form of spooks and jump scare compilations. You know the kind. However, that's not to say that there are no well-backed horror games. In fact, there are quite a few every year. They just aren't the type of game that many mainstream developers bat an eyelash at. Why, you may be asking? Well, that's a good question actually. If we want to be realistic about it, it's because they don't make as much money as big blockbuster action games. You can't market a battle pass and cosmetics to a single player crowd that wants an immersive romp through Terrorland. But another true fact is, they're just hard to make. Some indie devs may make it look easy because they have a passion and desire to make these games, but horror is a whole other ballgame. Visage, Outlast, Darkwood, Bramble, they were all made by small teams and all of them are good in their own right. A successful horror game needs to captivate an audience by understanding a lot of things, including timing, player psychology, the power of audio engineering, and presentation. Which honestly makes it all the more impressive about today's topic when an action-adventure game swoops in to knock players off kilter with a complete tonal shift into the macabre and unnerving. Despite how sudden it may be, it typically ends up gelling with the game, whether it be from a narrative or atmospheric standpoint. What's that? You're asking for an example? Okay! 1 minute you're battling it out with otherworldly monstrosities emerging from their underground dwellings by literally chainsawing them in half, and the next, you're playing Marco Polo with a specimen that looks like The Rock in the Fantastic Four's The Thing had a highly aggressive blind child. This transition happens on a dime, from high-octane action outdoors in the streets to a tense encounter in the cramped indoor spaces. There is no build-up to this, nor does the game prepare you for the situation it walks you into, which does nothing but amplify that holy shit factor. Did I mention that it completely takes away your safety blanket by making it literally bulletproof? It's a genius move in a game that really facilitates a shoot first, ask questions later gameplay loop. Your tools for making progress in the game rely on guns, and while you can use them to agitate it, you can't really fight your way out of this situation. In fact, it would be perfect if Dom would stop walking in the path of the fucking killing machine. I'm sure by now that there are longtime Gears fans in the comments below saying this. Centrifuge, what about Act 3, Chapter 1, aka Downpour? Is that not gonna make it into the video? Just take a seat. Just relax. Take a chill pill. It's gonna be okay. Because guess what? It is in this video. Ha! It does make it in this video because it is a good level. It does have really good atmosphere and horror vibes. It's just not as good as the tense 5 minutes with the Berserker. Fight me. Halo. Oh, sweet, sweet. Halo. Oh. If you watched my last video, which you should go watch it after this video. It's about heavy narratives in games, and you'll know that I have a massive affinity for Halo. But this entry has nothing to do with that because it earns its place in this list. It's a sci-fi first-person shooter about shooting aliens and uncovering secrets in the name of democracy. Sorry, that's wrong. The wrong game. I mean humanity. I probably didn't need to tell you that, because everybody loves Halo, and why shouldn't they? It's literally amazing. It puts you in the shoes of an unstoppable badass that really needs a weapon to get the job done. It balances a steady flow of action with equal parts mystery and somber loneliness. Despite what is at stake for humanity, that being total annihilation, the game has lighthearted moments with quippy dialogue, colorful backdrops, and a hopeful, inspiring yet almost melancholic soundtrack. It really allows the player to glide through each level with bravado. But this all just comes crashing down in level 6, otherwise known as 343 Guilty Spark. There are 5 missions prior to this one full of clear skies, bright colors, open areas, familiar foes, and soothing music. But mission 6 just comes in and wants to completely destroy any hope you have left in your entire body. You can't even fathom how dark this mission is. Suddenly, there's thick fog, crash ships from both sides, which is really weird. The enemies you once fought are running away from something? There's something obviously a lot more sinister going on here, and the music, if you listen close enough, clues you into this pretty early on. It's just really unnerving and alien sounding, and it's just unlike any other track that has played up until this point. If the Covenant are scared when they are so boldly coming face to face with you and fighting, what the fuck lies ahead for us? This mission does so much right with what so many acclaimed horror movies and titles do. It refuses to show anything in the first quarter of its duration. It sets the stage and allows natural build-up through the scenery and decay that you stumble across. There's gallons of blood smeared across surfaces, dead bodies lay out in the open, scattered, and fire remains from previous contact. Contact from what though? Then there's this guy. Yeah, you just walk into a room and he's a deranged marine shooting at you, broken from the horrors that he's seen. If all this didn't get goosebumps flowing on your scaly little skin, you, my friend, have balls of steel. What follows is one of the best introductions, in my opinion, to any game enemy type. Cam footage that leads directly into the first confrontation where you're trapped in a room with them. And you know, at first it really doesn't seem that bad, right? It's kind of like fighting Popcorn Chicken if Popcorn Chicken was an enemy in a game. That's until the last door breaks down and the casual stroll-in of the real new aggressor, the infection forms, walks in. It's effective because you have no idea what awaits you. The first form doesn't really seem all that bad, but it's a double whammy when this infection form walks in and starts fucking up your day. And once they show their face, well, oh, hell no. It's pretty terrifying. It doesn't relinquish the player of any assets for defense, but the build-up makes you really wary of them. This hesitance towards them eventually fades in the preceding missions because you end up just spending the whole next 40 minutes fighting them consistently, which does take away some of the horror. But how a game like this casually grabs horror by the balls is really incredible and commendable. Also, fun fact, but this whole mission was really inspired by the movie Aliens. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. This whole channel was just me plugging my love for The Last of Us and Aliens and telling people to play them and watch them. Oh, there's something wrong with me. Hold on. I'm getting a call. Yeah, hello, yeah. What's that? The viewers want yet another example? I can do this all day. Half-Life 2, baby! Another first-person shooter with powerful themes and motifs about the dangers of unhinged science and oppression on a global scale. Sorry, not just oppression, but abuse and the loss of personal autonomy, seeing how the Combine had prevented humans from being able to reproduce. God, that's depressing. It's a game that doesn't shy away from topical and contemporary issues that, although it was made all the way back in 2004, oh my god, this game's 20 years old? Holy shit, I feel old. But these topics still hold relevancy in our climate today, as shitty as that is to say. But like Halo, Half-Life 2 has moments of brevity and humor thanks to its characters and writing. Much like any Far Cry game, and even Homefront: The Revolution, as shitty as that game was, Gordon, aka the player, is tasked with bringing the Combine down once and for all to free humanity, even if we don't really deserve it? It becomes clear early on that its loop is one of platforming, physics, puzzle solving, and first-person shooting to achieve progress, much like the first game. Though this series has always had unsettling artistic designs, enemies, and environments, and also music, I wouldn't really go as far to call it a horror series because the action always made you feel in control and relatively safe. However, one mission has that horror stamp of approval from me. Do you want to know what it is? You probably already know what it is. If you know, you know. Ravenholm. An hour of pure horror set in a small, desolate town full of abominations. The tone shift is immediately clear like Halo. The almost 80s-like horror music swells in with the imagery of a person's lower half dangling from a light post. That's a whole lot of fucking no thanks. I wanted to turn around right there and just walk out. No thanks, I'm good. It's an indicator that this segment of the game is going to be absolutely twisted. And you know what? At first, it really doesn't seem all that bad. Sure, it's moody, the music is phenomenal, and the town looks hella bleak, but you're really just fighting slow-moving zombies for the first little bit. You're just walking around solving puzzles and killing things. It's going pretty good. Wait, what? What the fuck was that? Oh my fucking god, what are those things? That's how quickly this mission goes from, you know, I'm kind of actually digging this creepy atmosphere, to it divulges into a chaotic, ruthless fight for survival as you try to make your way out of the town with the help of this handsome fella.
Follow me, brother, and tread lightly, for this is hallowed ground.
Although it is probably just as high-octane action as the rest of the game, it does set itself apart because, man, you just really don't want these lemurs anywhere near you, and the atmosphere is so perfect. Similarly is Wolfenstein: The Old Blood. It blends its cinematic style of spilling blood with horror in its second half without taking away from the first-person shooter experience that really makes up the bulk of the game. It introduces supernatural elements as a callback to the older games by literally dropping zombies from the sky. No, literally dropping zombies from the sky.
Jesus Christ.
If there is a common theme within this video, it's that all of these games I have written on a list introduce their horror elements in segments with little telling of what is actually going to unfold. It's not random, and it's not at odds with the tempo of these games, but it does effectively knock the player off their element. A National Socialism killer, I had to word it that way because, you know, YouTube doesn't really like the N-word. Not that N-word, the other one, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, it's about a guy infiltrating a tavern party as a waiter 1 minute to literally the next minute watching a zombie outbreak unfold in front of your very eyes. I'd argue that this game isn't even really all that scary, because at the time of its release, zombies had been done to death. But there are some stylistic and gameplay changes once it is introduced that really help shake the game up. Firstly is the tone and color palette. The more normal colors and blue skies get transformed into fiery reds and oranges, blood soaks a lot of the environments as you backtrack through them, and if soldiers aren't dispatched right, they will turn, adding a new layer of gameplay to the combat. And for zombies, these guys are actually frighteningly fast. Look, there are honestly a plethora of other games that do this in the same fashion. The Batman Arkham Knight intro with Scarecrow's toxin in the diner, Cyberpunk's expansion Phantom Liberty has a hide-and-seek segment with a killer robot that is genuinely terrifying, I might add. Remnant 2 can get mystically creepy at times. I actually found some of the horror sections in the game were really effective. Uncharted Drake's Fortune with the Curse of El Dorado, that was pretty scary. Return to Castle Wolfenstein in the 90s. Even Doom 3. While it doesn't share the same twist and subgenre transformation in the game as a whole completely changed genres from its action roots to chase horror, and you know what? That game is pretty fucking scary, even if it does get a little bit repetitive. But anyway, the point of all these games is that they pull off horror as a subgenre within action, and they do so with great success, which is no easy feat. There are plenty of horror games out there that just don't work, whether they were made as a quick money grab, which is a lot of indie games, that's sad to say, or just made by companies that don't understand horror at all. EA with Dead Space 3. What these games have the benefit of is completely taking players by surprise because gamers didn't really sign up for a horror experience, yet these missions are widely regarded as classics. And I think that developers kind of knew that this would be the case. Valve intentionally put a part of Ravenholm on their demo packet for players to test before buying it because they knew that it was going to appeal to people. A great way to captivate an audience is to hit them with something compelling when they least expect it. And all of the games I mentioned in this video pull this off with great finesse. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for this video, guys. Let me know your favorite horror segment in games or just your favorite horror game in general. That'd be awesome. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, maybe share the video if you like the content. You know, I have other videos too. Down, I don't fucking know where I am. But thank you for watching. Good night. and good lunch.